Have you ever felt like there's a vivid fire burning inside of you, yearning to break free and illuminate your life? That, my friend, is your vibrant life waiting to bloom. Welcome to the Vibrant Life Podcast. We are here to empower women just like you to liberate that vibrant life, to live authentically, and to harness the power within.
Our journey will take us through the enlightening realms of energy healing, goal setting, spiritual awakening, and so much more. We're stepping into the light of self-acceptance, of owning our power and potential.
If you have been yearning to dive headfirst into the world of entrepreneurship, or awaken your spirituality, or simply make peace with yourself, your search ends here at the Vibrant Life Podcast. As we embark on this enlightening journey together, we promise to hold your hand through every step of your journey to a more vibrant life.
Your adventure to true empowerment and authentic living begins here. Tap into the vibrant life you've always dreamed of. Subscribe now and join us at the Vibrant Life Podcast. Embrace your vibrant self. Until then, shine on.
Shine on. Amy and Tyler just turned 38, and I was like, oh my God, we're middle age.
Yeah.
I'm turning 36 in 2 months.
Yeah, Nathan's 40, so that's fun.
That's right. Nathan just turned 40.
And I'm soon to follow. We're going to do something fun for my birthday.
I was going to say, what are we doing?
We're going to do something fun. Nathan doesn't really like big things, so we went out with a couple of couples, and that was really great.
And that was a Nathan birthday.
It was a Nathan
Audrey
birthday. I thought about, I was like, we could throw him a big surprise party, but you would hate it.
Yeah.
So, an Audrey birthday is going to be big and fun. Nice. I don't know what we'll do, but let's have a party.
Yeah.
In my new house. We'll just have a party in my new house. It'll be fun. Hello. Welcome to Vibrant Life Podcast. We keep trying not to add the society to it.
Yes. So our app is Vibrant Life Society. If you're not on it, you should be.
You should be. You should be. This is funny. So we're recording back to podcast. I was not awake for the last one, but you saw last week, Audrey, that meme that you sent before where you're chatting, and here's the person next to you just going, That was me last podcast. We had some time, have some cards, have some conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? We're talking about community today. And I think that was a perfect example of I was having some things happen at home. I was just not quite in the right mindset yet. Cassie and I were able to connect on a deeper level. And now here I am.
And you're feeling good. I can feel the different energy.
The energy shifted. We pulled cards. Yeah, my confidence is now boosted again. And maybe it wasn't while we talked about confidence in the last episode.
We talked about it a little bit in our break of just here's the ways that we're not showing up confidently. And we don't ever want to not be real with you guys, right? Yeah. We're out here just doing it.
We're doing things. It's a big thing to put ourselves out on social media, to do these podcasts. And while I feel much more confident now than I did a year ago to talk about confidence, I was a little bit like, oh, can I talk about confidence? So I let Cassie talk about confidence while I felt like just not quite awake and not ready to go there yet. So here we are.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But these topics, while we're talking about them to stretch our listeners, they also stretch us.
They do.
And this is a whole journey. So I feel like if we did this whole series again in a year from now, we'd be in a completely different place.
It's going to show up differently again.
The beauty of it.
Because a lot of the topics we're doing right now, we did kind of just start at the beginning of where we started last year because we had a lot more confidence to talk about the topics.
Yeah.
But we felt they were so brutally necessary to redesigning your life. We wanted more details. We wanted more depth. We wanted more deep and authentic conversation about the topics we're discussing.
Well, and if we think about confidence and community and Soraya, last year she was like an egg, right? She was this tiny thing. She was very nebulous. We had an idea. We didn't super know each other, And so it was now we have so much confidence in who she is, and who our community is. Our community has come together a little bit more. Our app is a thing where before it was
amazing.
An idea.
Yeah.
And so, it's we have all these resources we've built. And that is finding confidence in the external, but along with creating those external things, we have figured out who she is. Mm-hmm. Who does she stand for? What does she support? How do we want her to show up in the world? How do we want our community to look and act and feel? And all of this is part of who she is as a business, as an entity. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of radical self-love in
Radical self-love.
To
And
loop it all back around.
I'm also thinking about how, like, when we think about our business, Soraya, we think of her as this pink blob, and how Cassie and I both dressed in pink today
We did.
without talking to one another.
I have not worn this shirt in probably 5 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Today I was like, I looked at a couple other shirts. I even put a couple on, and then I was like, this one. And then I was like, how funny would it be if Audrey showed up in this? And then literally, hold your arm up. You can see we're
They're
like a few shades off.
Well, they're in our own like color houses, right?
Yes.
Because
I'm an autumn.
You're an autumn, and I
think you're a summer.
I'm a light summer.
Yes.
I'm a light summer.
And so this is like one of those colors that kind of, mine is more warm, but it kind of comes across. But
yeah, and I have cooler tones on.
yeah.
All right. Well, today we're talking about community. We kind of already got started about community. At the beginning of this, we were talking about birthdays, talking about turning 40. Since we're talking about community, I went back to the Divine Feminine cards, and we're going to see what falls out here for this collective. Oh, well, guess what? This card was backwards. So trust.
Well, it takes a lot of trust to be in community.
It really does.
Truly be in community. When we talk about community, I feel like there's different levels. There's like the surface level of like your acquaintance friends, right? The ones you see, they're warm bodies when you're throwing a party. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, I enjoy you to a certain extent. And then you have your true community, your ride or die besties, the ones that are like, I'm going to show you the mess. And I know you're going to love me for it. And like through it, you're going to tell me truths that I need to hear. You're going to tell me, you're going to support me. You're going to, your true community, right? And that takes trust. That takes vulnerability.
It takes a lot of trust and vulnerability. And I don't even want to read that, because I think that's exactly spot on for what it is. It takes
community, takes trust. It's trust that you're going to be there for me and that I can show up for you. Trust in yourself to allow other people in. We kind of touched on this last week. The more you love yourself, the more you can let other people love you. And self-love comes from self-trust. So trusting, I mean, that is really the foundation of community. I think why our nation as a whole is so divided is because we don't trust our neighbors anymore.
We don't trust anybody.
Right.
And so learning how to find your people, learning how to find people people that you can have really deep conversations with. We were talking about this just a little bit ago as examples of, I had a couple of really great friends in college, and we had some falling outs. And I, at that point in time, was we fell apart. Like, I'm not going back to that relationship. I'm walking away with my head held high, because it was too vulnerable for me to go back and be like, this happened and it really, really hurt me. And I feel abandoned. I feel like you weren't loyal to me. I felt like the things that happened weren't worthy of going through. But a lot of that had to do with my own worthiness of not feeling like I was worthy to have friends like that. So walking away from relationships that led to like my mid-20s, where we had a lot of warm bodies around us, where I could have surface level conversations with people, but I didn't have any deep, true, meaningful conversations or relationships with people. And then I was isolated, and I kind of stayed isolated through my 20s into my 30s. Motherhood definitely isolated me further, where I found some friends to be with that they had kids, and we would have play dates and we would do things like that together. But I didn't have deep, meaningful connections in my life. And it was lonely for a long time.
Yeah. So a lot of you probably know my story by now. I was also isolated through my 20s. Mine came through marriage. Yay. So slowly, but I think there was definitely external manipulation, but then I think it was so effective because I was afraid to be vulnerable with people. I was not comfortable with conflict of any kind. So if someone got mad at me, I was like, well, that relationship is over.
Yes. Well, that's what I did.
That's done now.
Yeah.
Shoot. Because I wasn't willing to be vulnerable and say, hey, I fucked up. Yeah. And I wasn't willing to go to someone and say, hey, I don't feel supported by you. You fucked up. And so I feel like that's why it was so effective. So that by the time I did become a mom and things fell apart, I looked around and was like, I don't really have friends.
There's
I
no one
had
around me.
I had friends
Yeah.
at work, which I still really appreciate those people, and we're not as close as we used to be, but that was a space that it was a safe space because it was just me there. Like,
Mhm.
if you can read between those lines, those were just my friends, right? They were just my people, and they didn't have loyalty to the person I was married to. And so, but I stayed at probably a company that I shouldn't have for a lot longer because of those relationships.
Right.
And then when I did leave and we didn't stay as close, it was like, oh, I do kind of feel betrayed and stuff because they were good relationships, but they weren't a solid community. It's a work
Yeah.
community. It's different.
It's a work
They're
community. It's
they're your
different.
coworkers. It's
Yeah,
different.
it is totally different. I know I had a lot of that when I made my first major move and transitioned out of typical hospital nursing. It was, oh, we'll stay connected. Let's stay close. Let's
Yeah.
stay in touch. And then I think I went out for drinks with one of them one time, and that was it. And I haven't seen
Right.
any of them in 5 years.
Can we just talk about how weird coworker community relationships are? Because
Yeah.
you know what that person ate for dinner last night. You know the most
Yeah.
trivial details of their day.
Well, and in
But
nursing,
yet-
you know the things that are going on in their bedroom too, because nurses are like, everything is out in the open. We don't keep anything quiet. Like we just
Right.
overshare because we see people naked all the time. It feels like there's no boundaries.
Yeah.
But yes, that's
But then
exactly
it's
it.
like, does that person really have your back? Like,
No.
it's so weird. It's
It
such a
is.
weird.
It is a really weird place to be. Yeah, you can know
Community.
people, but then you work with them. So there's a boundary that's drawn.
Right. And is there loyalty to you or is it to the company?
Yeah.
Because that's where I struggled a lot. Like, my really good friend, she was a VP. And so it was like her loyalty was to the company over
Yeah.
me when it
Yeah.
came to my career, you know? And so
Yeah.
that's just a weird spot to be in. We're still good friends, but it's nice to not have the company in between us.
Yeah.
So you can get community from work, but for me, it was like only work, and people didn't know the true.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to bring everything to your coworkers, most likely.
I mean, unless you're a nurse, and then
apparently you are.
and then you know too many things. But do those people have your back outside of that? Probably not.
Right.
So
they're going to get the tea at work, but do they?
Yeah. So we're talking about the importance of having community outside of that for finding friendships that go beneath the surface, like really deep. And what that takes from you is a lot of vulnerability because you got to put yourself out there to find those people, but staying in touch with people that you really connect with, like on a soul level.
Yeah.
And people that understand who you are, who you can be, your true authentic self. How do you find those people? You start by being your true authentic self because, oh, this is the vibe thing. You know, if you've got a ball that rings at 432 hertz and you've got a ball that is at 555, if you see the example, they won't connect because the vibrations are different. So if you've got two balls that are 500, I'm talking about balls and I'm making motions with my fist. Okay, this is funny. This is like that SNL skit when we're talking about putting the balls in our mouth. I'm not going to go there. So 555, they're both now they're hitting each other and they're going back and forth and they're conversing and they vibe together. So this is all about finding your vibe tribe, which we would love for that to be Vibrant Life Society, because that's what we talk about is finding the people you vibe with, that you can dive deep with, that you can show both the good and the bad, the light and the dark.
Yes.
Your true authentic self.
And you never know where you're going to find your people. So when I think of community, it's layered to me, right? You have your you have your nucleus.
Yes.
You have your probably 2-3 people that you're like, you are my girl, right?
You are my girl.
You are my girl.
know
You
all the
are my
things.
guy. You are my they, them. You are my person.
Yep.
You are my human. That like we click on a soul level. That is, I feel like that's somewhat rare. It's very precious if you find those
So
people.
precious.
It's so precious. And then you have your like next step outer circle, and it's like these are the people that you vibe with, but maybe they don't know your inner thoughts, right?
Yep.
You're not doing Marco therapy with them. That's what we call it.
Marco Polo is an amazing app where Cassie and I talk back and forth all day long. And I have a couple other girlfriends that I use it with too. And that's, you get all Marco therapy. It's lovely.
So those are your people, like, so that next level is like, I want to hang out with you. I enjoy your energy. We have very good conversations. You know, we're vibing together but it's that next layer out. And then you've got your like acquaintances, and then you've got the just
Your
people
surface
you know.
level.
Yeah, you've got your
surface level
friends, I would say,
Yeah.
like that next level friends,
Yeah.
and then you've got your acquaintances.
Yeah.
And you need all of that for community.
You do.
You do. You need all the different layers. So when you're meeting people, if they aren't like, if you're not like, oh, this is going to be my like core circle or my core group or my nucleus group, don't like throw that person away. Yeah. They can still be part of your community, because a community takes people at all different levels. But you never know where you're going to meet your soul level people at, because I have collected a few over the years. One I would say is from a previous job. I met Emily from, girl, I trauma dumped on her. I was it was the day I kicked my ex-husband out, and I had already told my sister I would go to this like small group thing at church, and I just sat in the corner and I was clutching Gemma. Like I remember we were in a kid's room, so I was sitting on the floor at the church that we were going to, and I was meeting, like it was like a meet and greet kind of thing, right? And so I was like, I'm just going to sit down and shut up and make it through this thing. I just can't be in my house right now. Like that was the whole goal of going to this thing of like, I'm not in my house. And I'm just going to sit quietly in the corner. Right. And so there's like 4 or 5 women. They went around talking, and then they all look at me, and I'm just like sitting there. I've got this like 6-week-old, maybe like 8-week-old. I don't remember exactly how old she was, but she wasn't yet 2 months, because I remember having a panic attack around her 2-month-old birthday, because I was like, no, your dad isn't here. You can't turn 2 months. Like that was a rational thought. There was no rational thinking going on at the time. But anyway, so she was itty bitty, and I just like had her clutched here. And they're like, so Cassie, what's going on with you? Like, tell us about you. Like, hey, I'm Cassie. I'm a fucking mess. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how I introduced myself. Emily could tell us. I was like, hey, I'm Cassie. I'm a mess. I just kicked my husband out today. I'm just trying to make it through, right? And she came up to me after, and she's like, girl, I got you. Aww. And like, she's like, we're going to be friends. And she put in a lot of the work at the beginning, right?
Well, yeah, because you needed that.
Because I needed that.
Yeah.
And that takes me to my point of when you're trying to find community, show up as the friend that you want to be. Like, show up as the friend that you wish you had. And she was that for me. So anyway, and then Audrey, which I met you through Jasmine daycare, and we were surface level friends.
We were
for a long time.
Yeah, for years,
several years. We were surface level friends. We would go
Gemma
do
was
group activities.
So Gemma was like 5, 6. Gemma was 6 before we became deeper level friends, right? Because she just turned 7. So yeah, so 6 years.
6 years of just kind of floating around community.
Like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Your daughter's so cute.
Oh, your kids are nice to my kid. Like, oh, we can hang and have like mom group time together.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And was. And then last year at that, we had a mom get together and a lot of surface level conversations.
Yeah.
Some deeper level. But then, yeah, we had a moment where we clicked and we were like, ooh, we need to connect on this.
We need to do this. Yeah.
We need to do this. And so then it took, the first time we ate out, I think the first meeting was a little awkward. Yeah. As we were trying to figure out what we did with that. And it wasn't really, it took a long time, probably a good 6 months before we were like, okay,
all right.
I'm starting to trust you. I'm starting to tell you more things. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show up as the real me, right?
Yeah.
What you see. So yes. So the benefits.
You got to come over to my house and see how messy it was this week.
Yes.
That was huge.
Huge. Yeah, this girl don't clean for me. Nope. I grew up in a house where my mom was like, this is very real. Like she had 5 kids. We always had friends over. Like we always had my cousins over. Our house was always a mess. So like it does not bother me. And I grew up in that, like, we would clean for like company coming to stay.
Yeah.
But we also had an open door policy. So you never knew when people were going to come over. So like it was not uncommon for people to like just knock on our door at 8:00 at night to come over for like a chat if they needed to talk to my parents or like whatever. Like that was how I grew up.
Yeah.
Like you never knew walking into your house who was going to be there. And I kind of loved that.
Yeah. Speaking of houses, growing up, our house was never super tidy, but then my husband came from a house that was super, super tidy. Oh. And so that's the expectation that he has. Like he doesn't want anyone to come over and see. I was like, whatever, it's just Cassie. Our house is going to be a mess, and she's coming over. And it's
Does
great.
not faze
It's
me.
fine.
You see my mess every week.
Yeah. Well, I know. It's just like,
Yes,
for us,
but that was a layer of trust.
that's a layer of trust
Right.
that there's cat vomit on the front carpet. Step over it when you come in. I'll get to that later.
Yes. But I wouldn't judge you for that.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and I don't care.
Right.
I don't
love that.
care. Right?
There's such freedom in that.
There's a lot of freedom in that.
Yes. Okay. So back on track. If you've
Away
been
from
around here.
Away from them empty houses. Okay.
If you've been around here for any amount of time, you know that I say life is meant to be done in community.
Yeah.
Coming from a place of being isolated, my parents had good community. I don't know that they had a lot of deep community. I feel like as I kind of got older, they did, but they were always in community. Like I said, we had an open door policy. Like people were always in and out of our house. And so I saw what community could do, but I also saw what surface level community was. And so anyway, it was like, I grew up in a decent community, I would say, like, and then from isolation, and then in your time of need, unfortunately, that's when your community shows up a lot of times because they need to love you. You need love. They need to be surrounding you. And so I was like, oh my God, life is meant to be done in community, but you strengthen your community through the good times and the bad times.
Yes.
And that's where the trust comes in.
Yep.
Because you need people to rally around you in the bad, and you need to celebrate. You need people to celebrate with.
Yep.
In the good. So I don't know why this story is coming up, but so when I was growing up, my dad, he owned businesses, like he built houses, we remodeled houses, like that was his deal, right? He was a serial entrepreneur like myself, very much like him. But within our church, one of his things that he felt passionately about was taking care of the widows. So a lot of our Saturdays were spent going and mowing lawns for widows, or we would go paint their houses, like us, just our family. Like
Interesting.
our family would go, like that was like a teenage job. Actually, I feel like it was a punishment. I don't know if this is true. It always seemed to coincide after a night of drinking. I would get that like 8 a.m. Hey class, we're gonna go mow Miss So-and-so's lawn. And they never said anything. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I'm clocking it, right? We're calling it out. Like, oh, those 8 a.m. chores, those were strategic, right? Yes, I know you just got in at 5 a.m. because you don't have a curfew, and I can smell the alcohol in your breath. So let's go. But anyway, he poured into the widows within our church. And then, not too many years later, my mom became a widow.
Yeah.
And our community, he had already set up a network of people that knew that widows were, and so we had people descend on the house that my mom was in. And like, because my dad died in the middle of a lot of projects that he was doing. And so like, just the community poured in and finished a lot of that for her and took care of us. And that actually brings me to my other funny stories about my brother. He was 14 when my dad died. And this was like a day or two after. So he's a 14-year-old little shit, right? Time of grief. Everyone's reeling. My mom yells up the stairs and she goes, "Hey, T, come down. I need you to mow the yard." And this is how quick that little, he was like, Mom, I am not sure that is the best thing. I wouldn't want to take the opportunity for someone to show their love for us away from them. Like, I just feel like that might be something that someone wants to do for us. Part of our community showing up. And she goes, "Get your ass." I just love that. That is such like a youngest child. Like me sitting there at 26 being like, the audacity of this child. Like, I would never speak back to my parent like that. Anyway, I love that story about him. I wouldn't want to take the opportunity for someone to love us away. I just don't think that's probably the best move.
Yeah.
Like, somebody might want to show up for us in that way.
That's hilarious. Well, because he was used to seeing that kind of community show up.
Yeah.
Right? They had built a bigger community than what they had when you were at that age.
Yeah.
And I also feel like that was super premeditated on your dad's part to show up for the widows. I love that he laid that groundwork So that way when he left,
because when they lived here, he was like kind of in charge of that. And then
Yeah.
they moved overseas when I was a senior in high school. And so then he had put people in place and was like, he had created this foundation within our church of like, the widows are important. Like, this is a command. Like, he lived out his values, right? Like,
Yeah.
based on the Bible that he believed in, the widow, like, it is a dictate. Take care of the widows, take care of the least of those.
Interesting.
And so he created this like whole program. And then
And
not
then
many years later,
your mom benefited from it.
yep, my mom was
Wow.
in that group. So anyway,
Yeah.
you never know where your community is going to go, how it's
Yeah.
going to impact you, how it's going to, the legacy it's going to leave. I think that's where I was coming from. But
Yeah.
going back to you, our listener, our sweet listener, on that huge tangent, the cost of isolation. I think we can all feel very deeply, but it's, feeling lonely, feeling misunderstood. We take on more ourselves because we don't have people we can ask for help,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So more likelihood of burnout. We usually falter in our personal growth, lack of motivation, because when you surround yourself with people that are aspirational, you want to be on their level. And so you get all of those benefits from community. You get, support, you get understanding, you get motivation, you get help when you need it, or even when you don't know you need it. You get insight into who you are, but also accountability and shared experiences. All of this comes from community, but community doesn't just happen. Like everything we talk about here at Vibrant Life, it is intentional. So while we are providing an online community, which we feel is very, very necessary, especially today, I mean, why not use the tools to be connected? You might meet your next soul friend online. People do it every day. You might meet them in the Vibrant Life Society. But also make sure you have people close by to you. Mm-hmm. And so go out and network and reach out and get involved in things. Reach out to that mom friend. I mean, we went from out here to Nucleus, right?
Yeah, and I didn't see it coming.
No, because
not at all.
Because you have to put yourself out there, and be a little vulnerable to start your community.
Yeah. I manifested you, just so you know.
Yes.
I definitely did. That was part of my moon work in the last few years, was that I wanted empowered females around me. I wanted a close relationship.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
And
here she comes.
Lately I've been using like optimizing like the bang for my buck, right?
Yeah.
With community. So I was pretty strategic. I was still, when Gemma started kindergarten, I was like, I'm going to throw her a very big birthday party. I'm going to invite all the kids in her class. She only has 31 kids in her grade because she goes to a really small school because it's a year-round school in our neighborhood. But so I was like, I'm inviting all 31 kids because I want the mom's phone numbers. So I was like, I will pay extra for the birthday party because I want the mom's phone numbers because I want to see who I vibe with.
Right.
And so I was like, everyone's welcome. Gemma gets a great birthday party. People can come enjoy. Like, but then since then, I've been like, we've been putting together group activities, and it just takes that little umph, and people are, oh my gosh, they are craving community. So if you can be that person that can say, like, I just sent out a text this week to like 10 other women. I was like, hey, a friend and I, who I met through Gemma's birthday party, right? Like, we've now gone out to dinners and we're like close, and she watches Gemma on Tuesdays because I said I needed help, right? So like, we are true community. I would say Krista and I are true community. We are probably going to end up being soul friends. But where is it going to? Oh, I was like, we like crafts. Who else likes books and crafts? I feel like that's a very general female thing, right? And so next Friday, we've got 10 women that we invited. We're like, hey, let's do a craft together. Our kids can go play together or not. And we'll probably whatever. But like, it doesn't need to be one-on-one intentional. You can also do big group activities because that's how you sift out your people and build community. And then you don't have to be super, super close with everyone in your community. We are just the facilitators. Like, I feel like that's kind of been my role that I've honed over the last couple of years, because like through this community that I was very intentional with Karen Acres, which is Gemma's school, like we've now gone on a big group vacation. People come over to our pool all the time. And I've seen relationships develop between other moms. Like, they are super close. But it started probably like they either met at an event. I'm not taking credit for all of that because they obviously went out above and beyond and built their own community. But you just need to create opportunities. for people to come in, and people are willing and wanting to jump on it. I have found most often.
Yes.
People are craving community because in America, we are not great at it.
No, we're not.
And
And
so
we've
you have to
been
be
more and more
intentional.
isolated over the last few years, starting probably with the pandemic. So it's
Yeah.
time to get back out there and find your community. And because you don't know what's going to happen next, like it's just so good to have people around you that can support you.
Yeah. So there's your challenge for this week.
Yeah.
Make sure you're a part of Vibrant Life, the app.
Please.
Please come join our community.
Come join us.
Please.
Please,
We would love
please.
to have you. But then also extend one invite. That is part of the GLOW method. Also,
Yeah.
is reaching in and reaching out.
And reaching out.
Your well-being, the well-being of your community. So extend an invite. Set up a coffee date. Set up a play date, because you don't know where that's going to go.
Mhm.
When I think even about like our book ladies retreat, it started with me and Sarah, which is another mom from Caring Group. So it started with, we had this idea. I have an Airbnb. I was like, let's do it. And then, she invited some people she knew. I invited some people I knew. That was the first one, right? And then new friendships formed. So like Emily came and she met people from Sarah's group that she's super connected with. Like, you don't know how the community, it just happens organically. And then the next one we did, Audrey invited people. And now it's like, I'm friends with your sister and I'm friends with Ellen. And you don't know where the people are going to come from, but everyone is creating community.
Mhm.
And so you just got to get out there in the world
Mhm.
and involved in line. Looping back around. Sorry, apparently I have a lot of thoughts on this. But looping back around to where we were last week, I have always been a consumer of social media. I am not a commenter. I was a creeper, I would say. I love to scroll. I love to see. I like to be in the know of what's going on chronically online. I was never a commenter because I was like, oh, that's not for me.
Yes.
I didn't
Feeling
have the
like-
confidence to get involved. And so I've been challenging myself on that.
Yeah. Feeling like what you had to say didn't matter.
Right. Oh,
But
who
it
cares
really-
about a comment from me? No, get involved. You don't know who's going to respond.
Yeah.
I've had some good conversations with people.
Yep. I love that.
And that's what the Vibrant Life
That's what
Society
it's
is about too.
I'm loving the trend on TikTok. Hey, nice to meet you, or whatever, where they sit down and there's people from all over the globe that I'm following on Facebook now. People
Yeah.
from Sweden and Norway and
Yeah.
London. Like, it's fun.
It's fun.
Global community too.
Yeah.
It's new.
Love it.
Okay.
Okay. So sorry, I kind of took over that conversation. Do you have things you would like to add?
No, I think that sounds like we wrapped it all up.
Okay. Go find community. It's
See you-
important.
It's important. Click all our buttons. Share
all
with a
our
friend.
Do the
We'll-
things.
we'll see you next time.
Exciting news! The Vibrant Life Society is now open, and we'd love for you to join our incredible community of empowered women. Sign up through the link in the show notes to start creating your most vibrant, joy-filled life today. And thank you for tuning in to our Vibrant Life podcast. We hope today's episode has energized and inspired you to live your best life. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. And please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback fuels our mission to bring you more valuable content. Stay connected with us on social media at Vibrant Life Society for daily tips, motivation, and community support. As we wrap up today's conversation, we encourage you to embrace each moment, pursue your passions, and prioritize your well-being. Together, let's create a life that radiates with energy and purpose. Until next time, live vibrantly. See you in our next episode.